Hey, how's it going? Anthony Fro here, Crate Sci-Fi. Very excited. Today we're going to fly the Kitbash spaceship. So we kitbashed this ship. We painted and weathered it. You can link to all those videos, right? Now we're gonna fly it. Oh, so exciting. So the setup for this is very basic. You can use, in my case, I'm in my garage shop, a garage, a bedroom, a basement, a shed, a friend's house, right? An office. It's very simple. And the shots we're gonna do are really straightforward. It's going to be like 10 to 1, right? So you just want to get like 4 to 8 seconds of just smooth movements, right? And so because it's like a locked off straightforward thing like that, you'll do it 10, maybe even 20 times just to get that one, right? Oh, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up, and then we're going to shoot this. Let's go. All right, sleeves rolled up. I got the back of my workshop here, and I'm just putting a pop-up green screen, all the lights I have. I got a key light there, the slider, and I just have this model that I use for parts that I'm testing. So now I'm setting up my final shot, and I have my DSLR camera, and right now I'm getting ready to start. And I'm thinking, great, and wait a second. So my lens is a tilt shift lens, and I can't get the whole model in focus. So I needed to rethink things, and my phone shoots with 2K, so I went ahead and did that. All right, so now we're in the trenches, right? So, I have my green screen. Like I said, I prefer the pop-out one because I don't get the wrinkles. As much light as I have basically to light the screen, but not the model. And then the model is just this little LED, right? And then the slider. Now, like I've said all the time, is I'm learning to do this as well, and watched a lot of videos, watched a lot of historical documentaries, in the 70s of people doing this. And you sort of assemble a plan like, okay, this is the way I'm going to approach it, right? But then once you get in there, certain things start happening. But as long as you have a clear idea of what you're looking for, you do your research, I think it's okay. Like, I feel like 80% of what I'm doing is what I intended to do. But then there's that other 20% where it's exciting because when you're actually in there, it's like, oh, what about like this? Or maybe some things that you thought and you were pretty sure to do a certain way just were not working, and then you got to make it work for you, right? So so what I was finding is that ideally it's just a nice smooth move like that, and then it clears the frame. But because of my setup and the size of my shop, etc., I wasn't really able to achieve that. But what I was able to do, which I kind of really liked anyway, was just do a slight move, and then that allows me to get the shot I want and then to clear it, right? So that was something I didn't intend to do, but I ended up doing it a lot. All right, so let's continue. And that gives you an idea of what I'm looking at. And now I'm relieved to see the smartphone in 2K is working very nicely. Okay, so that concludes the hands-on portion of this project. Now, that's one of the things that I like about doing this, is that so much of what I do, especially in my sci-fi creation, is in the computer, right? So that's an amazing tool that allows me to do that on no budget. But this gets me out in the world working with my hands half the time. So we have our spaceship footage, right? So now I'm going to take it into the computer, and then we're going to put it in outer space, right? But I'll take this with me and put it on my desk for inspiration. All right, let's go into the computer. All right, so now I'm in Premiere, and I'm just going to take all those clips that I just shot, and I'm going to drop them all in a timeline, right? And I have other videos where I go into detail about how to use Premiere and how to edit, and I'll link to that. So now I'm just doing selects. I'm selecting every usable take. Right now I'm not looking at them if they're good or bad. I'm just selecting if they're usable, and I'm trimming it down, and I just want to put together a timeline with all the takes, right? Get rid of all the ins and outs, the ones that didn't work. And now I'm going through and I'm selecting the ones that are the good ones. I'm labeling them purple, and I'm raising the roof, I call it. So I'm putting them ahead. So now I have 4 shots that I think are the best ones, right? And by that process of elimination, it just makes it more doable. So now we go into After Effects. Now again, this is, you know, it's a little more heavy lifting than in Premiere, but, you know, this is how you get the best result. First, what I do is I put a mask around the whole model so that we're not looking at all this color info. When we go to key it, next thing I key it out, I get a nice key there. And now I went ahead and tracked the camera. What that allows me to do is to put a star field back there that follows the camera movement. And then I also slave this nebula to that, so you get a little bit of parallaxing with the nebula. And finally, I just add a flare. Now, the flare to me is sort of the cherry on top. And here I have some color correction with some hazing, and just all these layers really sell it. Now, I went through that in a second, but I have 2 videos, one where I go through Premiere and do this, and one in After Effects. So I have you covered. I'll link to those videos, and it's more detail about how to do this. So now I'm looking at this, and I just want to say, remember when we were building and I talked about the Aztecing? Man, I'm glad I did that. Look at that Aztecing. I'm sold. I love doing that now. All right, so it's not done until we do the sound effects. So you gotta have some kind of heavy ship sound. Here's one. And then I'll go through and add other whooshes and subtle little sound design elements. And then now I'm gonna find a piece of music. I didn't use that one, but it got me in the ballpark. All right, so now we're gonna export this and let's take a look at the final video. I have to say, I'm really pleased with that. So, you know, before we sign off, I just want to take a moment to do a side-by-side, because to me, this really says it all, right? When you look at it side by side, it really breaks down how simple this actually is, right? I mean, it's like any fine craftsmanship. You get better at it, and the details, but the core of it, the core of what we're doing here is very simple. Oh, I love this process so much, so exciting, right? You hands-on, you build in the shop, you film, then you do computer things. Oh, just so much fun. And I hope at the core of this demonstrated that it's all very doable, right? Even if you've never done this before, it's pretty easy to approach, and you know, like anything else, you just get better at it. The model making, that's new to me, right? But the costume building and the sci-fi filmmaking, you know, I've been doing that like for over 10 years. The DSLR filming, that's something that I still have a minimal knowledge of, right? So I'll get better at that. But I think the core of everything we did is very doable, right? And then, like anything else, you just get better at it by doing it, right? Well, as always, I hope you found this video useful. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I love to read the comments. Got some great comments when building this. Probably in future videos, I'll incorporate some of the tips that you all gave me. A lot of great weathering and painting tips. And check out the merch shop. Buying merch really helps the channel. I'm wearing my Core Geek shirt. Big fan of his work, right? And practicing what I preach, right? You can support makers by buying their merch. So check out the shop. We got hats, we got shirts. Like I said, that really helps. But you know, let's roll that footage one more time. Remember, I'm just here to help make sci-fi.